I tested my football knowledge on my football IQ in Premier League game with 30, and well, I got cooked. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video is a review of Premier League game week 30. In this video, I'm here to compare my prediction and Thogden and Thogden's prediction for game week 30. I know this game week 30 I got cooked because some of the predictions I made, oh Jesus, is quite unfortunate. So without wasting much of your time, if you're new, my name is Andy Final. Like this video, share your thoughts, and already I've made a prediction for game week 31 and the video is already on YouTube. So I'll even leave a link at the description. Go and check that prediction out, and you can also go to Thogden's channel and subscribe to their channel because they also make their prediction for game week 31. But already my video for game week 31 is already out, so check it out. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started. The game week 30 started at the Stadium of Light. It was between Sunderland versus Brighton. And if you look at the predictions, Thogden predicted a 2-1 victory for Sunderland. He gave Sunderland a home advantage to win over Brighton. And looking at Thogden too, he also predicted a 1-0 victory for Brighton, the away team. So, and my personal prediction for that day was a 2-2 draw between Brighton and Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. At the end of the day, the actual scoreline ended in a 1-0 victory for Brighton. So if you look at our predictions, Thogden got the game between Sunderland and Brighton. He got it spot on predicted in the first game of the game week 30. This took us to the next game was at the 12th mile. It was between Burnley versus AFC Bournemouth. If you look at the predictions, Thogden also predicted a 2-1 victory for Bournemouth. Thogden predicted a 1-0 victory for Bournemouth, and I also predicted a 2-1 victory for Bournemouth. So all of us predicted a straight win for the away team, but unfortunately, the actual result was a 0-0 draw between Burnley and AFC Bournemouth in game week 30. So this took us to the next game too, was at the Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Newcastle United. Looking at our predictions, Thogden predicted a 2-2 draw between Chelsea and Newcastle. Thogden predicted a 2-1 victory for Chelsea, and I also predicted a 2-1 victory for Chelsea. We both gave Chelsea the home advantage to win over Newcastle in game week 30. At the end of the game, the actual result was a 1-0 victory in favor of Newcastle. So all of us got it wrong. Thogden predicted 2-1, I predicted 2-1, and Thogden predicted a 2-2 draw. So we all got it wrong. So this moves us to the game that was played at the Emirates Stadium in game week 30. That was between Arsenal versus Everton. Well, if you look at our predictions, Thogden predicted a 2-0 victory for Arsenal. Thogden predicted a 1-0 victory for Arsenal, and I also predicted a 1-0 victory for Arsenal. At the end of the day, Arsenal won that game, or the actual scoreline was a 2-0 victory for Arsenal. So if you look at our predictions, it means Thogden got it spot on in game week 30, the game between Arsenal and Everton. Thogden predicted a 2-0 victory for Arsenal, and he got it spot on predicted in game week 30. This moves us to the game that was played at the London Stadium. Was between West Ham United versus Manchester City. If you look at our predictions, Thogden predicted a 2-1 victory for West Ham United. Thogden also predicted a 2-1 victory for Manchester City, and I also predicted a 3-1 victory for Manchester City. At the end of the day, the game ended in a 1-1 draw at the London Stadium. So we all got it wrong. Despite Thogden predicted a savage result, he tried to give even West Ham the home advantage to win over Manchester City. At the end of the day, me and Thogden, who were thinking Manchester City were going to still chase Arsenal, end up deceiving ourselves. We gave Manchester City a win in that game, and at the end of the day, they drew at the London Stadium against West Ham United. So we all got it wrong in game week 30, the game between West Ham United versus Manchester City. This takes us to the next game that was played at the City Ground between Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. This was a crucial Premier League game, and well, let's look at our predictions. Thogden predicted a 1-0 victory for the home team, that's Nottingham Forest. Thogden also predicted a 2-1 victory for Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, and I also predicted a 2-1 victory for Nottingham Forest. So we all give the home team the home advantage. At the end of the day, the game or the actual results ended in a 0-0 draw between Nottingham Forest and Fulham in game week 30. So we all got our predictions wrong in game week 30, the game between Nottingham Forest and Fulham. And so this took us to the game that was played at the Old Trafford Stadium between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Let's take a good look at our predictions. Tottenham predicted a 2-0 victory for Manchester United, the home side, and well, Thogden also predicted a 2-1 victory for Manchester United. And me, on the other hand, also predicted a 2-2 draw between Manchester United and Aston Villa. At the end of the day, the actual scoreline was a 3-1 victory for Manchester United. United are back to their winning ways and they got it right. And me, I got it wrong by predicting a 2-2 draw between Manchester United and Aston Villa. So this takes us to the game that was played at the Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Leeds United. At the end of the day, take a good look at our prediction. Looking at our prediction, Thogden predicted a 2-1 victory for Crystal Palace. Thogden predicted a 1-1 draw, and I also predicted a 2-1 victory for Crystal Palace. At the end of the day, the game ended in a 0-0 draw at the Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Leeds United. So it's only Thogden who even predicted a draw, but he didn't get it spot on. He predicted a 1-1 draw, but at the end of the day, the game ended in a 0-0 draw between Crystal Palace and Leeds United. This took us to the game of the week in game week 30 that was played at Anfield between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. We all know how bad Tottenham is struggling at the moment. So let's take a good look at our predictions for this game. Tottenham predicted a 3-0 convincing victory for Liverpool. Thogden also predicted a 3-1 victory for Liverpool. And I also predicted a ridiculous 4-0 victory for Liverpool, thinking Liverpool were going to win against Tottenham Hotspur in game 30 to help relegate Tottenham. But at the end of the day, that game ended in a 1-1 draw at the Anfield. That's why Liverpool personally, they are also struggling. So it's not our fault. We think Tottenham was bad, not knowing Liverpool even didn't do their homework to even get a result against a struggling relegation team like Tottenham Hotspur. So at the end of the day, we all got it wrong. Thogden 3-0, Thogden 3-1. I predicted a 4-0, and the actual scoreline was a 1-1 draw. So this leads me to the last game on Monday night that was played at the GT Community Stadium between Brentford and Wolves. Looking at our predictions, Thogden predicted a 2-0 home win for Brentford. Thogden also predicted a 2-1 win for Brentford, and I also predicted a 2-0 win for Brentford, thinking Brentford were going to win against Wolves, who is at the bottom 20th position on the league table. And at the end of the day, that game ended in a 2-2 draw. Thogden predicted 2-0, Thogden predicted 2-1, and I also predicted a 2-0 for Brentford. But we all got it wrong when the game ended in a 2-2 draw at the GT Community Stadium. So after all the games in game week 30, this is how now the Premier League table looks like. Arsenal is now leading the Premier League table with 70 points plus of 39 goals. Manchester City follows on the second position with 61 points plus of 32 goals, followed by Manchester United third position with 54 points plus of 13 goals. Aston Villa comes in at number 4 position with 51 points plus of 3 goals. Coming in at number 5 is Liverpool with 49 points plus of 9 goals. Chelsea also comes in at number 6 position with 48 points plus of 18 goals. Brentford also comes in at number 7th position with 45 points plus of 4 goals. Everton also comes in at number 8 with 43 points minus of 1 goal. Newcastle United, after beating Chelsea, also came in at 9th position with 42 points plus of 0 goals. The 10th position is now Bournemouth with 41 points minus of 2 goals. Coming in at number 11 position is now Fulham with 41 points minus of 3 goals. And 12th position is also Brighton with 40 points plus of 3 goals. Sunderland comes in at number 13 with 40 points minus of 5 goals. Crystal Palace also comes in at number 14 with 39 points minus of 2 goals. Leeds United also comes in at number 15 with 32 points minus of 11 goals. Tottenham Hotspur also comes in at number 16 with 30 points minus of 7 goals. And Nottingham Forest also comes in at number 17 position with 29 points minus of 15 goals. West Ham United is now 18th at the relegation with 29 points minus of 19 goals. And coming in at number 19 is Burnley with 20 points minus of 26 goals. And last on the league table is now Wolves with 17 points minus of 30 goals. So this is now the Premier League standings after the Premier League game week 30 fixtures. Well, moving on. I've already made my prediction video for game week 31. And we also know Manchester City will play Arsenal in the League Cup. If you would like to see my preview video, comment below and I'll do a preview video for that game. Manchester City versus Arsenal in the League Cup final. So this has been our predictions versus the actual results for Premier League game week 30. Let me know your minds and your comments. I tested my football knowledge on my football IQ in Premier League game week 30 and well, I got cooked. Well, kudos to Thogden and Thogden. They have a couple of games spot on predicted in game 30. And I hope to do better with the following game with 31 that I've already made a video for you. My name is Andy Fine. If you're new here, like this video, comment what you think and your thoughts at the comment section and I'll be there to interact with you. And send me a personal DM. Let's have one-on-one conversation on IG. Till we meet in another video. Bye-bye for now.